Hi guys, welcome back. Today I am going to be carrying on with the bus repair on the Land Rover. Those of you who haven't seen the video, I've got a 1999 Land Rover Discovery 2 and it's due its MOT. Well, its MOT ran out in December. I had a few advisories on the last one. One of them was corrosion on the rear chassis. So I started doing repair work and found that the rust was more extensive than what I originally thought. So I started cutting out the rot and started welding in new bits. I'm not an expert welder by any stretch of the imagination, but it's all a learning curve and we'll get there. So today is cutting out the rest of the rot, hopefully, and then should be able to start putting new bits of steel in. I showed you in the last video I've got the repair panels and then the bump stop mounts on the back. They've both just corroded away, so I'm going to be replacing those. What else? Yeah, hopefully that'll be about it for the rust repair, and then it's just a case of wire wheel on the angle grinder, give it a real good clean up, rust treat and paint. And then I've got the axle to sort out. I've got the modification for they got a rubber coupling that connects the prop shaft to the rear differential. They're prone for rotting away, cracking and getting excess play, so they call it a modification, but I think it's off the Discovery 1 where they have a 4-bolt flange rather than a 3-bolt flange, and there's no rubber boot, it's just a solid metal joint bolted together. So I've got that to do, but that'll be much later on. Yeah, so this video I'm hopefully get all the rot out. Hopefully the weather holds. I've had really bad weather about the past couple of days. So yeah, so enough chatting, let's get on with making noise. Okay, so this is a repair patch I was telling you about that had been previously done, and my welds ain't much better, but I could probably do a better job than that. So that whole patch there will be going, and I've got the bottom side obviously all to do. That's the new bit I've welded in on the outside, which the welds need grinding back and redoing because, again, I'm not the best welder in the world. That's a reinforcing rib. They've got 4 of those, and then it's got this thin plate that goes, like, wraps over like a C-section. and they are quite thin actually. So yeah, so I'll probably be might leave that bit in, or depending on how it cleans up. But I've got that section there to cut out because that hole's got quite a bit of rot. I mean, overall it's not too bad, so I probably don't need to cut the whole thing out, but I probably will end up doing that. And it goes all the way up, so I may as well just do right up to the back here, and then come all the way down to just past here, because it's where the steel actually starts getting better. The outside up there is alright, it's a bit bulged there, but I'll have a look when I cut this out what's going on there. And then the bump stop mounts, which used to be here, and so that's what the bump stop used to bolt into, and that used to fix up that way round. So that's all rotted away, and I have a feeling that's going to be a hole there. Not at the moment, but I've got a feeling it will. But if I can just cut that plate off, or grind that plate off, and then make up a new holder for the bump stop and weld it on, brilliant. That's what I'm going to do. Same on both sides, but that side chassis leg is actually alright. It's rusty, but it's not got any holes or anything in it, or holes that shouldn't be there. So it's only this leg I have to repair, which seems to be an ongoing trait with this car. So yeah, right, let's start the cutting. Okay guys, that's a lot of rot cut out there. So ignore the dodgy welds, because yeah. So it's all a single strip there, a little bit on the corner there which I'll cut out in a second, but that's all the bad bits cut out on here anyway. I've still got a bit of tidying up here to do. That does look to be okay on the inside. A little bit of corrosion in there, but a bit of treatment and stuff. And it's not going to be there long term. Like I said, like I've been saying before, my plan is to get a galvanised chassis. So it's now time, I got to this point, to start tacking stuff in, I think. So what I'm going to start with is a clean up, so get the grinding wheel on. This tie down point, I'm just going to get rid of that, I don't need it. And wire wheel, grinding wheel, clean up all the edges, make sure everything's okay. And you see that steel's a lot thicker than, that's all swollen because of the rust and stuff, but there's like 3 layers there, so not really good representation. But that one there, so you see how thick that is compared to what I'm putting in. So this steel's about the same thickness, maybe a little bit thinner, but yeah, not far off. It's not far off. So I'm going to give all this a clean up now, and then I've got a piece that will go across the top, which I might cut out first and put that on and tack it on, and then tack this side plate on and then do the long strip for the bottom. I was going to cut the whole bit out, but it's not all that bad on this side. It's mainly just up to here and then a little bit here, so I'll probably just put a strip in there and straight down. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And so I know it looks horrible now, but hopefully it will look much better real soon. Okay guys, as you can tell, the sun's come out and my battery died. But what I got done there was I used the flat wheel to start knocking back the welds, my dodgy welds, and just cleaning up the areas ready to start more dodgy welding. And then I got the actual grinding disc on, which worked a lot better. I should have started with that, to be fair. Lesson learnt. So yeah, so I used the grinding disc, ground back the welds, revealed all of the bits I'd missed and holes and this, that and the other. Ready to weld it again, hopefully better this time. And I cleaned up the other bits, the edges that I cut out and stuff, so they're ready. And I cut off the, it's like a lashing point, so a tie down for transport. I don't need them, there's lots of little bits, but it's just in the way. So cut it off and get rid of it. So I'll just show you what I've done so you get a better understanding. Let me lie down on the floor. So first of all, got rid of that lashing point. That's just cut for now. That will have a proper grind down and clean up once I've finished letting all the steel in. Cleaned up the edges all around, ready to start welding. And then on the inside, cleaned up all my dodgy welds. I say dodgy, they've held. It's in there, it's secure. So, but there's lots of pinholes and stuff all the way along, and a few bits where it hasn't. Well, obviously, the big bit there. What was happening was I had the wire speed too high on my welder. I didn't realise, and I just couldn't figure it out. And then I just thought, I'll just turn the wire speed down, turn it down, and it started welding really well. But it's all going to go over again. So I ground them back to give a nice surface, and I'm just going to go in and go all round, so it is going to be properly strong now that I've got the wire speed set right. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do first is, welding on the floor is horrible. I'll get this piece in here, a bit I cut, I'll put that in there, tack that all into place, and then I'll work on putting the top piece on, which is just one, it's only a small piece, not very long, in there. And then once that's done, I can then work on this bottom section. What's bits of old big wire there? So yeah. And once it's all done, oh, that's the other thing. These holes I'm going to fill. I'm going to fill these holes, and then put the tow bar mount, that triangular bit there, that bit there. I'm just going to clean that out and then put that back over the top of what I've welded in. It doesn't need to be there because initially it was designed to go over top of that around the original factory welds, but I was going to get some of the same steel, so it's the same thickness, and put it in, weld it, and then cut it off. I'm going to do that on both of them. And that way it's just one piece kind of thing. And like I said, I don't do heavy towing. The most I ever tow really is a small box trailer when I borrow one, but I don't have my own trailer. I don't really intend towing with this anytime soon. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my MIG welder out and get this one in first. Hi guys, it's a different day now, but you saw what I got done. I got the two side pieces pretty much welded in. I've got a little bit more of the original panel to grind out and re-weld. It was quite windy, so obviously with MIG, got the CO2 gas running through, and the wind is blowing the gas all out the way, so the welds aren't brilliant. So I have to grind that out and re-weld it. But today I'm going to work on the strip along the bottom and across the top. Hopefully I can get those done. Fingers crossed. The rain's due to come in about 1 o'clock, and it is currently 10:30 now. Yeah, almost 10:30. So let's see how much I can get done. Hopefully I can get at least one of the strips done and at least tacked in, and then I can work on figuring out how I'm going to do some like reinforcing strips, which will probably be a case of do I have any angle? I think I've got, no, the only angle I've got is really chunky, so I've got 2mm steel, flat sheet steel. I'm going to cut tabs off and bend them in a 90 degree, weld them onto the bottom strip, and then when I weld that in, I'll drill holes through the side pieces I put in, and I'll just plug weld them, so at least it's got a bit more strength in the corners where everything's going to meet, because obviously the original chassis is angle in the corners, and then it's just 2 pieces of like sheet steel that's pressed into a C that one slides to one side, one goes to the other side, and then that's welded on, and then it's just spot welded to these ribs. And so I'm going to pretty much emulate that, just with shorter bits of strip angles to go in. So yeah, let's go and get started on that, and I'll show you exactly what I got done and what I'm going to do next. Okay, so underneath the car, and as you can see, we welded this edge. Trying to pay too much attention to the welds because I'm not a professional. Bit more here. Don't know if I need to do any more there or not. I think that might be alright. And we welded all along the top here. Some of it looks really good, some of it looks really crap, but that's the way it goes. And then this is the end I need to redo. It was just wasn't going very well. I think I might need to cut a bit more of this out to get back to a bit better steel. Cross bottom there. So that's that one side, that's the inner side done. And then if we scoop down the bottom of it, so I've welded inside as well, all the way along, and along this edge here as well, and the same on the outer one. 2 spots onto the reinforcing bits, and then just the sides, which the welds on this one look a lot better than the welds on the other one. So I'm getting better slowly. Like I said, it'll be strong enough, it'll hold it. And if anyone's got any tips or anything, I'd be happy to take constructive criticism on board. So now what I'm going to do is work on, do I want to do the top or do I want to do the bottom first? The top's not that much, as you can see, it's only, that's good steel to there. It's only that small piece there, but it's going to cover the whole thing. That's that lip there, that's the reinforcing bar, so it's all gone because I cut that out originally. So it'll be a piece that just sit on top of there, and then be welded to this side, and then from underneath to these reinforcers. And when it comes to this bit with the reinforcers, like I said, it's going to bend a 90 degree piece of the sheet steel, which is the same thickness as these, and put it in, drill a hole through the side, and then plug weld it. Well, actually, from the bottom, I don't need to do that, because I can just put it up in, weld it to the top, and then weld it to the side. And then I'll work on the bottom half. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then these openings will get filled in, so they won't have these holes. They'll just be one solid piece, and then I can put the tow bar, this mounting bracket for the tow bar, I can put that back on and weld it in place. So yeah, so top bit first, and then work on the bottom. To make the template, I'm going to use a piece of cardboard. I'm going to put that over the top, press down. That will give me the imprint of the shape I need. Cut it out, check it, make sure it fits, and that I'm happy with it. Trim it a little bit more if needs be, and then once I'm happy with how the cardboard's fit in, I'll then cut out the piece of steel a little bit bigger than the cardboard, so then I can grind and work that to make sure it fits in nice, and I'm happy with it. It needs to be that wide. Good. Better idea. Right, so let's not use a pencil instead. Okay, so one piece of steel cut, which way round it goes. That way. So it still needs a bit more trimming across the top here. The bottom there is alright. Yeah. Let's trim that bit along that line a bit better. When I do that, yeah, trim that line a bit better. So I need to trim trim a bit more off the top. Trim along that line a bit more. As it's up to there. Nice like that. Cut that there. And get that out of the way. Yeah. It'd be easy if I could get this out of the way, but the bolts are rusted and solid. And then I need to trim that there. Actually follow that line. It does need to go a bit thinner, but I've purposely left it wider so I can have a bit of wiggle room to move it around a little bit. So, a little bit on that, and a little bit in here. Let's get rid of this top lip a little bit. This old bit of chassis leg. So it's time for a little bit more cutting. A little bit more. Cut on there. Twisted.
Started cleaning up the tow bar bits and the fuel tank strap, and I'm going to be continuing with that. Used the wire wheel initially, and then I've also managed to find my needle gun, the descaler. So, which is works to get the rest off, works really well. Only problem is my compressor doesn't have a large enough tank to continuously run it, so you have to run it for a bit, stop, run it for a bit, stop, let the compressor catch up, which not an issue in the grand scheme of things. I would like to get a second one the same size, so then I can run 2 compressors to 1 airline. They should work, from the research I've done, they should work about 50% of the time. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna get on with today, and painting. So all the parts have been cleaned, and my partner actually came up with a really good idea. She turned around and said, why don't we just leave instead of painting them black, leave it the red? And so that's what we're doing. Bought a new cheap pack of paintbrushes today, so I've got paintbrushes, and she liked the colour, red oxide, so I'm going to leave them that colour because she's got more taste than I have. And it's less work for me to do. So as soon as she gets back, I will get her on the painting project, and I'm going to descale in the chassis, which is going to be very noisy, very dirty, so I'll put it on a time lapse for that. But yeah, speaking of the devil, hi. That's the scaling done. All it does really is
gets off the large chunks of rust and stuff like that. So I still need to go around with the angle grinder and the wire wheel just to clean the last bits off. But it shouldn't take too long for that, hopefully. I'm only going down as far as the front mounting points for the trailing arms, because the centre part of the chassis I can do any time. I just need to get the vehicle back on the ground and get it done so I can hopefully get it for MOT. But yeah, so I just got the angle grinder out now, got a wire wheel on it, get my respirator because this is going to be dirty, and obviously my air defence. And yeah, so I'm going to set you up again on a time lapse, and I'm going to blitz around it as fast as I can. Mainly that's a nice day, obviously I don't want to annoy the neighbours and get it done as quick as possible. And yeah, first coat of paint's red oxide's on all the parts, so they're done, they'll dry, and it does say 6 hours between coats. Make it drag out a bit longer, but it's fine. Because I've still got obviously to paint the chassis as well, so get this wire wheel done and then quick brush off, and then we can paint the chassis with the same paint. So the two of us will be doing that, just a bit of a quiet thing, and then I think that'll probably be it for the day, because not really much else. Oh, I got the axle, and I can't get the flange, although there's a spacer piece in the flange you've got to take out so you can get to either the nut or the bolt that's inside so you can take the 3-bolt flange off. I've tried everything, everything. I've heated it, soaked it in oils, penetrating fluids, you name it, I've tried it. There's a special tool you can buy that clamps on and pulls it out, but because I'm upgrading to the 4-bolt flange, I don't need that centre cone piece because it doesn't go back in. It only fits that 3-bolt one. So what I'm swinging towards now is cutting down the side of the flange to relieve some pressure, and hopefully then I can pull it out. I mean, failing that, it's cut the whole thing off flush and then undo the bolt in the centre and take it all out together. I don't know. I'm gonna have to have a think about that over when we're going for a coffee in a bit. So that means the grinder's ready to go. That means it's time for another time lapse. I've been painting the chassis. Well, we've been painting the chassis.
Yeah.
Mainly so. Past MOT, so we can go on holiday. Well, not only just a holiday though, is it? Let's be honest. She's an old girl, we need to look after her.
Yeah. So, have you explained what the paint does?
I think I did in a previous video, but basically, the brand's Hammerite, not sponsored.
We wish.
Yeah, we're not big enough channel to have sponsors yet. We will be if everyone likes and subscribes. Hint, hint. So it's basically a direct to rust paint. Anyone who's used Hammerite before knows what it's all about. It's got rust inhibitors in it, so it should protect it for a while. It's not a permanent fix because, like all paints, it will get stone chips and chip off eventually, but it'll protect it long enough until we're in a position that we can put a galvanised chassis on there, which I really, really do want to do. And if anyone wants to see that,
you have to like and subscribe.
yeah. If you want to see a complete novice put a galvanised chassis on a Land Rover, then like and subscribe, because I've got a feeling it's going to be quite comical.
Yeah.
I need to get over that 1,000 subscribers.
about 100.
No, we're getting there though.
Yeah. I say we. It's the royal we.
Yeah.
You do everything. So
Well, you started the editing side, so you're fine.
might not like what I've edited. So
Well, we'll let the public decide. All 50 subscribers.
what? I've been wearing gloves and it's got on my nail.
Have you got a hole in the
I
glove?
must have a hole in the glove. There's a hole in my pocket, dear Liza.
And it's touched up afterwards.
Mm.
So yeah, so if you want to see me put a galvanised chassis on this, like, subscribe, follow, and leave comments.
Oh, do you want to explain why you've left that bit not
What bit?
painted?
Oh, here, yeah, because I need to weld on the
Defibrillator.
the mounting point for the tow bar.
So the thingamabob.
Yeah, the thing you bolt for the use me flops.
Yeah, that's it.
So I need to, obviously, there's no point painting it, just to burn the paint off when I weld it. So I thought I'll leave it because it's weld through primer, so I can weld straight through it, so it is protected. But then once I probably should have welded it the bit on before we painted the tow bar stuff, but I didn't.
That's the bit I predominantly painted.
Yeah. Well, the bits that you painted yourself. So, but it's fine. It is fine.
It's fine.
And so what do we? Because I did have a comment saying that I can't remember who it was off. I can't remember his name. He said a quarter chassis would have been a lot easier. Well, yeah, a quarter chassis would have been a lot easier and probably a lot quicker. But
Yeah.
they're coming in at best part of £400.
And how much is the galvanised chassis that you found the other night?
£3 grand.
Mm.
So, for the sake of just to get through the MOT, yeah, a quarter chassis would have been good and probably a lot quicker. But I couldn't warrant spending like 400 odd quid on a quarter chassis, and then in like 12 to 18 months potentially spending £3 grand on a galvanised chassis.
12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Is that really how long you think it'll take you to save up those pennies?
Yeah. As long as you stop making me buy plants.